Well, it's about that time. Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, the full pull here on the Pulling Radio Network with your host, Adam Drott. And, of course, Ray Taluki on this end of everything. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Tuesday. Right there on the edge of your seat. We're doing it one more time. Boy, I thought we were just here last Tuesday, and of course, I am flying solo this evening. Yeah, that's right, co-host Adam Drott, that secret super squirrel stuff. Yeah, he's back at it once again, but boy, he did a great job tonight, ladies and gentlemen. He got a great host lined up. We're going to talk about my great guest tonight. We're going to talk about that just momentarily. Big thank you to D's Performance, jumping on board D'sPerformance.com, from the street to the strip, everything in between. Check them out online, D'sPerformance.com. Big thank you to them, one of the sponsors here on the Full Pull, of course, each and every week with Adam and Ray. Yes, that's right. Don't forget, also, you can do it right now. Take a minute, go over there, buy your tickets for that pulling hitch. Yes, right. Pedal to Metal Pulling Hitches and the Pulling Radio Network teaming up this season, especially preseason for a lot of you outdoor guys, and you have the opportunity to buy that awesome, well-built, built like a brick shithouse style hitch with the 90-degree and the ghost hitch. Yeah, you can sneak it in there, guys. Get out there, get your opportunity to own one of the best hitches built on the market today. Yes, that's right, no doubt about it. Well, my guest tonight, and we're going to get him on just a little bit. We got a little bit of other things to do, but the one, the only, Colin Ross tonight, going to be joining us here on the Pulling Radio Network. The Full Pull, the man, you might as well call him the man with a broom, ladies and gentlemen, sweeping Bowling Green, taking the points chase this year, and also 1 and 2, taking it 2 nights in a row, along with the championship out there at the National Farm Machinery Show. Colin Ross, the driver of that McCormick Triple By Pass diesel superstock, will be on with us in just a little bit. So back to what's upcoming here. Don't forget, we have Keystone Invitational. Yes, you just heard it right here. If you missed it, you can go back and listen to it on SoundCloud. Of course, Tony Kozar, he did a great job, and we appreciate him having JR and Mike on, of course, from Eastern Extreme. And we're out there watching everybody. Hey, guys, Vince and Trevor and Matt, watching us on the World Wide Web tonight. Big thank you to you guys supporting the Pulling Radio Network, no doubt about it. But, yeah, great show. You can find that on SoundCloud along with all the past shows here on the Pulling Radio Network. Tony Kozar doing a great job for us. He will be joining myself, Adam Drott, and Katie Johnson from the Trackside with Katie Johnson Show. We will all be in Harrisburg in the next couple weeks. Looks like, I think we're down to 10 days. Let's see, tomorrow being the first. So, yeah, make it 10 days, and we will all be converging down to Keystone for the Invitational. What a great time. We have a lot of things lined up. We will be live streaming all 3 days, doing our interviews, doing our shows. Yes, Keystone will be live streaming. More information to follow on that. A little unprofessional, but I keep getting it caught down there. Excuse me. But, yeah, we'll be live streaming. We got a couple guys lined up, couple pullers, couple promoters, current pullers, champions lined up for the hot seat, doing a little talking with us. So we will be doing our show live from the pits. Thursday, Friday, and, of course, Saturday. Love for you to come out and see us in the pits. What's great about that event is you can wander around, you can talk with everybody. All the vehicles are inside, whether they qualify or don't make it. They stay right in the building right up into Saturday. A couple guys load them up and get out of there a little bit early after the show's done, late Saturday night. But come on, come on over and hang with us on Saturday. Hang with us on Friday. We'll be there Thursday. Looks like I think we're at a 2:30 kickoff time for each one of our shows. But if you can't make it, you'll be able to watch it right here on the Pulling Radio Network. So we do appreciate you. Yeah, you ain't kidding, Chris. Beer and barbecue. We're ready for that one. No doubt, no doubt. But a lot of great things coming up, of course, on the backside of the Louisville show. Huge thank you to all our supporters out there, everybody watching and sending us great emails and some great information about the Louisville event. We had a tremendous time out there, and we appreciate everybody reaching out and talking with us and letting us know good wishes, and it was great to be there. We look forward to doing just the great stuff in Keystone. Heard some great things, new things coming up. I'm told there will be the big display board. That will be the big video board that will be in Keystone this year. And of course, there will be live streaming. More to that. The event will be live stream. We understand right now it will be a pay-per-view event. And we'll get more information, everybody, on the pay-per-view for the Keystone Invitational coming up here the 9th, the 10th, and of course the 11th in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Tickets are still available, but I'm told general admission is only what's left. But if you check out the Keystone Invitational website, you can get all that information. And yes, that's right. Chris is telling me, I appreciate that. Semis will be doing an exhibition pull. So the first time they're going to try to run the semis indoors at Keystone. Thank you, Chris. I did forget about that. So yeah, they're going to put everything indoor with the semis and give them guys. I don't know. And maybe, Chris, you can... maybe you can answer that for us, or maybe one of the guys from Keystone Listen can send us a message over here tonight. How are they going to tube the semis? Do they make a double tube, fangle gadget with pipe and such? I don't know how they're going to do that, but how are they going to tube? How are they going to tube the semis? That's a good question. Let's see how they, because I don't think they're just going to let it blow off into the indoors and try to suck it out with the big fans. But we'll see what they come out with. But definitely give us a buzz. Let us know. That would be interesting. Yeah, Mark, that does sound interesting. Like I said, I wonder how they're going to tube the semis and get the diesel smoke out. But yet to be seen. We're looking forward to it. Single one under the cab to the smoke tube. Well, we'll see how it goes, Chris. Looking forward to seeing that. Don't forget, Thursday and Friday, too, if you're into that quarter scale stuff down there, the guard tractors, it's fantastic. We will try to do some live streaming on Friday of the garden tractors. We'll try to do some of the diesels and some of the other big stuff. It's a little bit faster, a little more fast paced, but no doubt they run I think it's 400 or 500. I've checked with our friend Tiger Pullman, but I believe it's 400 or 500 quarter scale, them garden tractor guys, Thursday and Friday, and they just do a fantastic job. Plus the minis. Don't worry, we'll make sure we get the minis. We'll make sure we get the minis out there, and good evening again to everybody joining us. And of course, we're going to take a quick second here, and we're going to try to get our guest on tonight. Of course, Colin Ross, driver of the Triple By Pass. We'll see if we can get the ringy dingies here to work tonight. There we go.
Hello.
You're listening to yourself already on the video screen?
What's that?
I said, are you listening to yourself on the video screen?
No, I have my company phone linked up to it, but I just shut it off because I couldn't make everything. I couldn't listen to myself talk. I was like, I'll just shut that one off. So how are you tonight?
I'm good, Colin. Appreciate you coming on the full pull tonight. Great to have you on, and appreciate Adam Drott reaching out, of course. Adam doing that secret super squirrel stuff that he does. I guess he's doing some stuff for the government, so that's why he's back on night shift, but he will be joining us in the Keystone coming up here, like I was mentioning earlier, on the 9th. Colin Ross, a driver of the Triple By Pass. I've been talking about the man with the broom. Is that something that was given to you so far by anybody as a gag yet? Because you seem to be sweeping the diesel super stocks.
No, it's just been a lot of hard work, I guess. I really haven't thought about that. Dad, he always taught me, don't run your mouth, just let the tractor do the talking. And we've been working hard at it, and just this week has been kind of nice to sit back, relax, and look at what we've done. But we've been, we just brought another tractor in the shop. We're trying to get a second one done, have it out ready. So we just brought that in there Sunday. So we've been, the last couple of nights, been working on it and trying to figure out what we're going to do. So, still a lot of work left to do with everything, and also the triple bypass, but in trying to get this new tractor out and about, and hopefully have two of them at Benson's our plan. So
now the second tractor, I know Adam was kind of giving me the 1-2 fill-in on the second tractor. Now that is your dad. That's your dad Jody's old tractor. Am I correct?
yeah, so I mean it kind of is, it kind of ain't. He sold his tractor to Mike Beck in 1998, and Mike ran that tractor for, I'd say, I don't know, probably about 8 years or so. And in 2006, Dad bought the cast tractor back off him and ran it in '06 and '07. We blew a block out on the track in '07, pretty much destroyed the whole tractor. At that time, we decided we needed to build a component because that's kind of where the class was going. So we sold actually our old tractor to a guy here in Pennsylvania. He actually runs it in a Limited Pro right now and still runs it to this day. We built a component, and Mike Beck built a component in '07. So it's actually Mike Beck's first component tractor. It's been revamped a few times, and then he sold it to Brian Bricker, I think 2 years ago, and then we bought it off Brian last fall, and that's currently where it's at. But I guess technically it would be the old high-tech redneck, so it's kind of a little bit of bloodline in there, but it was a good opportunity we had to get into a second tractor. It's actually a plan for my sister to start driving. She's very eager to come up and kind of do what me and Dad does, and she's loved the sport just like I did when I was a kid. So I'm very excited to see how that's going to pan out. I'm excited for her. I hope everything goes well. I'm sure it will. She's a good girl, and she's been around it for a lot of years. So I'm sure she'll be just fine. But our whole family is very excited for that opportunity for her, and hopefully everything pans out like we hope it will. But of course, there'll probably always be a little flaw in there somewhere. But that's our plan, to have two tractors at the first Grand National hook, and hopefully maybe she can drive the second one if she's feeling up for it or not. But she'll definitely be in the seat sometime this summer for sure.
No, that's great to hear. I mean, you talk about, and we've always said this here at the Pulling Radio Network. I mean, the sport is, from front to back, everywhere's in between. It's family, because if you didn't, the time, the effort, everything that we put into this, it's all based around, the family either, it's not so much saying pick up the slack, but being there for you, to help out with everything. You just can't do it by yourself. And, that's one thing that me and Adam had kind of talked about this afternoon with you guys, getting more of the background on the Ross family and what you guys have done, your father through the years, yourself, and now with your sister looking to get in the CEO seat, the driving wheel of the second tractor. It goes to show that, you guys are all about family, and you see you're beginning to see so many of them, especially at Louisville or Bowling Green or the Bigs, where everybody comes together. And, you have, John Mumma was one of our guests, talk about the Nelsons, and, now you guys and the Boyds, and, the Audettes are going all the way back to, Gardner Stone with the General and them guys, the grandsons carrying it forward. It's just, the sport is all about family. And I don't think you see that. You might see it with some stock car racing because it goes back to that, that grassroots, but you really don't see that with bat and ball sports.
No, I agree with you 100%. The only thing that comes to mind when I think of family would, of course, be John Forrest and what he does, and having, I guess all three of his daughters at one time were racing, but he just got two of them now. But, that's a pretty big family operation. Sullivan's, what they do down there in Kentucky, having three generations. I believe the grandson is pulling now also sometime in the summer. So, and then the Boyds, like you said, they're a first-class operation and what they've always done through years. And Steve and Greg, and now Austin's coming up too. And it's good to see families just keep it going, because without that second generation, that third generation, this sport could possibly start to tail off. And it's good to get some young blood in there. I'm happy my sister is wanting to do this sport. I think it's a good eye opener that, this isn't just for boys, it's for girls too, so it's definitely a thing that we pride on, the whole family deal. RFP, Ross Family Pulling, that's what we that's what we go for every weekend. And I just know from my standpoint, like my mom and sister, they love going to the beach. They love doing all that stuff. And me and my dad, we absolutely hate going to the beach. We just don't like doing that at all. So I really don't know how we could bond or how we could have got to be a tighter family if it wasn't for tractor pulling. Those long trips out west, when you're all four riding in a truck for 18 hours, you got to kind of have to get along. And it's certainly just, we've met so many good people, and I've made so many lifelong friends, not just me, but my whole family has. And there's so many good people in tractor pulling. Honestly, if it wasn't for the people in tractor pulling, it wouldn't be worth it, because there's just so many good friends I've made from kids. When I was little, watching Dad's old Louisville tapes and stuff, I used to just dream to be like Rob Russell and Esden Lane. Them guys were my absolute idols. And, to grow up and then sitting on the starting line and looking down through there at Louisville and recognizing, wow, I'm actually doing what my heroes did when I was a kid, and then actually being able to call them on the phone and sit there and BS for an hour. It's every dream I could ever imagine come true. And it wouldn't have been possible without tractor pulling and how it's affected my family. And it's just so many positive ways. It's just hard to believe, but I'm certainly blessed for all the opportunities I've had being such a young kid, and going to National Farm Machinery Show and doing that in Bowling Green and being able to run points. And it's just something I'm very blessed to have the opportunity to do and be a part of.
Yeah, no doubt. You said a huge mouthful right there. But let me ask you this: when you sit up in that seat, and you mentioned Russell and Rob Russell and Esden Lane, and you're saying I'm in that seat and I'm doing what they did. Do you we've talked, a couple of us have talked about this as well. Do you sit there and you say, or after the pull is done and you're in the pits, especially Louisville, and the same thing with Bowling Green and so many of these Grand National events where the people are in with you into the pits, and they can come see you, and it's the 8 and 9-year-olds that come up and talk with you, and now you were there not so long ago, and now you're the ones that they're looking up to, and now you're their fan. Now you can actually say, Colin Ross, driver to Triple By Pass, I have fans. Does that become, does it become humbling for you, saying that, hey, now I'm the Esden Lane of my era, I'm the Rob Russell of my era?
Yeah, it's a hard feeling to describe when you get a cute little kid come up to you at Bowling Green and just his eyes are just you just can't believe it, and you let him up on a tractor and he sits on the tractor and you give him an autograph. And you don't think you're doing a lot because you didn't really do a lot, but I just think back, since I'd say it'd be harder for like a guy like my dad's age, because he doesn't really remember that much when he was a kid. But I'm only 20, be 23 years old tomorrow, so it wasn't that long ago that I was where that kid's at, and I can still remember what that was like. I still remember my first time meeting Esden Lane, or my first time meeting Rob Russell, or getting Esden Lane's autograph out at Bowling Green. I just thought that was like, wow, that was, he actually like shook my hand. I couldn't believe it. But I will agree with you. It's a good feeling. Like my childhood, I always looked up like Peyton Manning. Like, if you want to go to a sports figure, just a guy that's famous like that. And, I can't imagine what that guy always felt like. But, of course, I'm not saying I'm anywhere near like what Peyton Manning is. But, when you do get a little kid come up to you and get an autograph,
I'm going to stop you, Colin. I'm going to stop you about the Peyton Manning comment. Because think about this. You're a guy that has put down some tremendous passes. You've won the ring. You've won you won the Crystal Bowl. You won a Grand National Championship. Minus winning the Super Bowl and saying, "Hey, I'm going to Disneyland," which I don't know if Butch had asked you that. Maybe that's something we can work on, Butch and Dave, to say next year. What are you going to do now that you won the Farm Machinery Show? You almost could say in the motorsports world, and I can't say anymore how little this sport is, because it's massive. It's bigger than I think most realize, but you're right there with Peyton Manning and the Aikmans and the Montanas of the era, with the amount of the victories, the championships, the hard work that you guys have now reaped the benefits of.
Well, I mean, I guess I never really thought of it like that, but the way I look at Peyton Manning, I mean, he's without a doubt in my mind, and I don't care who you root for, whatever, but he's the greatest quarterback to ever walk the face of this earth, period. I hate Tom Brady with a passion. I don't care how many rings the guy has. He'll never be better than Peyton Manning. I just can never. That's just how it is in my mind. Now, I know there's a lot of people who don't think like that, but I mean, what that guy did over the year, and I just love what he did about his professionalism, and just how he handled himself. Never got in trouble. He was never in the news. But, I mean, with a guy like that, I think he's done it for 18 years. I mean, he'd be more like Evan Lane statue. I mean, I'm fine just doing what I did. We're very happy with what we were able to accomplish, but I don't consider myself the greatest or anything like that yet. I mean, that'd be great to do that one day maybe, but I'd say if there would be a Peyton Manning in the league, in my mind, that would be like an Evan Lane type figure that, won 12 titles and done it forever and is just, has won at every single pool there is. The pool act, that would probably be, in my mind, who the greatest of all time would be. If I had to pick one, probably, I would say.
That's pretty amazing to hear that, and I find that truly amazing to hear you say that tonight, because I don't think a lot of the pullers put that in their mindset that they don't. They're very humble. They're very to themselves, and you're doing a great job. You're well versed. You're carrying a tune, as they say, and we watch what you can do on the track. And I know a lot of people are watching us, and if they haven't, they're going to be able to go back and a borrowed clip of your pass, your victory, the clinching of hitting the sand now, running up on the show now. You in Louisville. I mean, kind of take us through. You're sitting there. I'm in the finals. I'm ready to make my pass, and we watched you walk the entire place. Twice. I mean, you put your game face on. You guys weren't able to make the pass. You were able to come back after the smoke tube was fixed. You're lined up. They're giving you the go. You got the green flag. I mean, what's going through your mind at this moment? Is it, what is hitting you?
Well, that's a good point you bring up. Whenever that smoke tube broke, I knew something happened, but I thought something happened on Brandon Hunt's smoke pipe on his tractor is why it did that. I didn't know if a V-band clamp broke, and that's, because I had no idea. I wasn't really paying attention to the tube. And then when I got back in there, I was so ready to go. I was ready to roll. Like, let's get this over with. I know what I need to do. Let's go. And then, wait, no, we're going to run alcohols first. We got a smoke tube issue. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I got to wait even longer. So then it's like another hour. And I know I paced a lot. I'd love to know, like my dad asked me last night, he said, I wonder how many miles me and you walked down there. He said, we didn't go anywhere, but we sure did walk around a lot. And that's a good point, because you don't realize it, but when you walk around Broadband and Freedom, a good bit, and especially whenever a smoke tube breaks and you got to sit there and wait. And by the way, I got to give a shout out to the guys on that smoke tube and Mike Witt and the whole Kentucky Fair Board. What they did down there this year was absolutely great and just a complete turnaround. They did an awesome job. But anyway, back to what, it was hard, but what we've learned, me and my father and a couple of guys here, Sean Orniff and Jim Main, that work on this thing every single night is, the more you work on it, the more you just have a more comfort level with it. I felt like I finally got to that point late last season. We knew going into this season that we had some reliability issues and some drivability issues that we need to solve with some water and stuff like that. Even though we had a great year last year, we really wanted to tackle those issues and not just sit still. We felt like we had good horsepower and everything, but we wanted to keep progressing and keep innovating and try to find solutions, not just sit there and just put Band-Aids on them. And we did that and went through all that, spent a lot of late nights in the dyno working on that, burned a lot of stuff up, but it was worth it, because down there at Louisville, I just felt calm. I was relaxed. I knew with the tractor and everything we've been through, it just put me kind of I had a peace of mind with everything. It was probably the most relaxed I've ever been. And I never thought I'd be like that at Louisville, because I always get nervous at Louisville. It's just something about it down there. It makes you nervous, for me anyway. But Saturday night, I can honestly say I was just peaceful and calm. I had a good Friday night, and the tractor checked out good. We went over it good Saturday morning, and I think if you do that and you work on it religiously and you try to keep that proactive maintenance, that helps you keep calm and keep your cool in the driver's seat. And when you're trying to sit there and prepare, whenever you get your helmet on, to me, that's what I've learned and that's what my dad has always told me. If you work on it and you double check, triple check, it's going to keep your mind off other things and just keep your mind on, pushing that throttle and letting that clutch out and making sure everything's in sync. And that's just what we try to do down here anyway. So.
And then I tell you, you're doing a hell of a job with it. You guys have done some tremendous things with it. Now let's kind of get into the build, the nuts and the bolts of the triple bypass. And I would assume you're probably heading in the same direction with the new, we'll call it the old new tractor, with you guys bringing that one back into the stable now. You're running a component chassis, and I'm told you guys are running an Enderley chassis. Am I correct?
Yeah, well, it's a Tim Engler chassis is what our tractor, the triple bypass, is. This other tractor is a Bob Barbie chassis, but it's been worked on by Bill Humphrey and a few other people. So there's been a lot of people have their hands on it, so it's kind of a little bit different on everything. It's still a good piece. We're going to do some revamping on it and stuff like that, but I wouldn't really know whose chassis to call it because it's been touched by so many people. But I'd say there's definitely a chassis game out there now. As you can see, it's a lot of how that first 100 feet goes. The guy gets the most ground speed, and that's just it's just what it's coming down to. It's one in the first 100 foot more than it is down at the other end. So just that you definitely need to have a good foundation underneath of it to make everything roll right, for sure.
Now, we talk about good foundation, of course. We got to be able to get that good foundation down that first 100 feet, as you mentioned. I mean, we're you guys, you mentioned dyno and, cooking a lot of stuff, and it's kind of how the game is played, and we know that, or at least a good portion of us are understanding more of that as they grow into the sport. You hear more about the dyno work that people that are getting into and allowing them to put that horsepower and put them motors right there on the very edge that they're capable of. I mean, are you guys doing your own motor work and your own build outs, or are you gaining help and knowledge from others?
So my father and I handle all the motor work. Mostly, well, it's actually all my father on the motor work. It's just his deal. He loves putting motors together. That's his thing. And then me and another guy kind of handle Sean Orndif back home here, a guy that helps us a good bit, kind of handle the fabrication side of it and putting pieces together and stuff like that. So we handle all our motor work. That's all done in-house by us. And then when it comes to the dyno work, it goes up to Tim and Josh Shipley, who actually run the tractors for Mike Coney, the Mack tractors, and they do a very good job with them, and they do a very good job with us. Guys are very good at what they do. We spent a lot of time there. We burned a lot of stuff up on their dyno, but without those two guys, the tractor wouldn't run the way it does. And you can figure out so much stuff. And they're only 100-mile away from us. We made a lot of trips up there, burned a lot of tanks of fuel going up there. But I tell you what, that beats the hell out of driving to Wisconsin and Tennessee and chasing the tractor all over the track trying to figure out an issue when you can go up there and make 2 or 3 bursts on it and figure it out pretty quick. But the dyno has just absolutely revolutionized the sport from my point of view. About every class uses it. About every top runner in the class that you see is pretty much based on a dyno. It's just something I think it's what the sport's coming to. And if you want to be the best, you're going to have to beat the best. And I mean, you're going to have to bring your A game every time. And when you go to the dyno, you can get your motor figured out. And to us, that's one less thing you got to worry about when you go to the track. Well, I know the motor's good, the water's good, everything's good there. Shut the side shields. Don't worry about it. Don't even think it's under there. Just act like everything's going to be fine, because you need to be worried about weighting the tractor, where you're going to be at on the track, driving the tractor correctly. I mean, there's enough things to worry about. And making sure your motor is going to be okay, or if all the temps are going to be okay. That's kind of the last thing that you need to be worried about. So that's why we try to do all that proactive work. And like I say, Tim and Josh Shipley is where we go, and I mean, they do a hell of a good job for us, and very thankful for all they've done for us as well. So, but that's just, I just think that's going to be the name of the game here in the next couple of years is definitely hitting the dyno as hard as you can and getting everything figured out there before you hit the track.
I know we heard a lot about that down in Louisville, and actually, you know, I want to say probably the past 18 months in the entire world of motorsports, where you're hearing more of them going into, again, the dyno world, where, you know, they're building 3 or 4 or 5 motors, and just like you said, the burn up, you know, they're just, all right, let's sacrifice one and see what we can do and try this, and let's go to the second round, and all right, we're comfortable here, now let's put it in the vehicle and get it out to the track, and, you know, and come back and read the data and say, okay, we did a great job with this, now let's go a little bit farther. And I truly believe, just like you had said, it's revolutionized where the sport is going to go. But, you know, where you're coming from, and you make a great point. I never really thought about this. And I know a lot of guys will comment on this, and I guess it might be a good question for when we're down at the Keystone, is you mentioned, all right, I don't have to worry about motor. You know, I know that my stuff's tight. I get there. I do the check on the vehicle. Now I have to worry about setup for the track, you know, because every track is different. We all know that. We have to read different, you know, and the track will progressively change, just like you saw at Louisville. We saw that change all 3 nights. You know, again, we watched you run you guys probably did 5, you at least 4 laps. Between the smoke tube damage and running the alcohols and you coming back out. So, you know, you're able to read the track and be able to set yourself up for, you know, a better run where you're concentrating on, you know, the tire pressure. What line am I going to take? Is there a line? How do we air? Where do we put the air? You know, the same thing. I think you make a great point that I don't think a lot of drivers are thinking about. Everybody's so concerned about motor, transmission, and then we get into the setup and what line do we pick, and there's a lot involved. And, you know, you guys are running a lot of miles, so not only are you getting there a little bit fatigued, but, you know, and a lot of windshield time behind you, but now we don't, there's one less thing we have to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how we handle it. I know there's a lot of people that might handle it differently, but that's just a strategy we kind of go off of. And it's been, I mean, ever since we've been in the dyno, probably, I'd say the last 2 years, early 2015, and when we really started airing on it, and it's just drastically improved our performance of the track and just how we are, just me and Dad and each other and kind of talk with our eyes, and yes, we know what we need to do. You know, whenever we see a down the track and he's on the seat, driving the seat, I'll look at him and give him that head on his ear. I'm thinking, and it's, you know, it's good communication with each other. He can be stubborn, and I can be stubborn sometimes too. But at the end of the day, we both, I feel that we work very well together, and I like the relationship we have with one driving it, the other one driving it. Because, I mean, like my dad always said back in the '90s and stuff, he always complained, you know, I'd like to see it go down the track a couple times. I like to hear what it sounds like. You see videos, but that doesn't do it justice, you know. So, and I actually enjoy watching it and get to see the smoke from the sidelines and get a better view on how to set the tractor up, even when I'm on the seat, the things I can't see. So, and honestly, to me, the worst seat in the house is the guy sitting on the tractor, because the front end comes up, you can't really see where you're going. You can't see what's going on. So it's nice. It's a good relationship we have, and what we can do with 2 drivers, and it works really well.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the benefits of having your father, who's been behind the wheel for a number of years and has some seat time with him, and has done very well, and be able to come to you and say, okay, let's look at this, or hey, I saw this. I know you didn't see that going down the track. and that probably
Hmm.
plays
Yep.
just like you had brought up earlier with the Force family. You know that John for years has done the same thing with the girls and said, he's there at every time they make a pass and able to say, hey, I saw this, or you didn't see this, pay attention to this next time, or let's check that. Now going forward,
Right.
now with becoming a two tractor team, now do you guys feel that not only you're adding weight to yourselves, now we have to maintain and keep up and continue with now not one but with two pieces of mechanical equipment, but do you feel that now having that second tractor, and we've heard this before, and you might be able to correct this theory, that even though I have two tractors that are completely different, it's hard to gauge one versus the other for setup. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that there's some truth in that. In a perfect world, maybe if we hit the Powerball someday or something, we could have two tractors that are exactly identical. So one does something, and you know exactly what to do to the other one. But I think over time, it's just something you're going to kind of have a feel for. Of course, this new one, we'll get it down the track and kind of figure out where the weights need to be and stuff like that, and then compare it to the other one. That way, we can have that advantage of the two tractor deal, where if one goes ahead of the other one and is a little light on the front or heavy on the front, we can make that adjustment with the second one to try to get at least one of them to make a perfect pass. But it's something that, like I go back to with the dyno, just one less thing we're going to have to worry about is just making sure that motor in there is absolutely bulletproof. And just because I think if we do that and do our maintenance on it correctly, we shouldn't be working on it day and night, if we didn't have that dyno. So that's one thing we're really going to strive on. The second tractor isn't going to have we're not going to put all the parts on it like Triple Bypass has. We're just going to kind of get it broken and see where we're at with everything, because everything being so new, and kind of give her the feel for it. And then maybe when she gets the feel for it, she can get the good parts, is what Dad says. So then maybe we can get her up to par. But it's going to be different with two tractors, that's for sure. I thought we busted our ass working on one tractor. I'm not sure how we're going to have time to work on two, but I'm sure it'll work out, and I'm excited for it, and I can't wait to be able to load two of them up in the trailer. So.
Oh, that's got to be a great feeling, like you said, to have two. And it seems like we're seeing more again the back to the families, but you're seeing more of them 1 and 2 and 3 tractor, or even not even in the same class vehicle teams out there, because everybody wants to be involved. And and I always looked at it when we race karts and stuff, and never got really big, and we'd run 2 or 3 or 4 of us, and we'd run as a team and we'd share stuff. But it was, boy, it's just the like you brought up, more headache involved. But if you have a good system, like you guys have already mentioned, with the working with the Shipley gang and working with your father, and able to take it up to Shipley and have them do the dyno, I mean, there's kind of an easy win for you guys, that there's one less thing that you guys have to worry about. Now it's everything in between, making the setup and making sure that your sister's ready to drive. Now, has she been behind the wheel as of yet with the Triple Bypass or your father's old tractor?
No, she's she's pulled a garden tractor, and she's pulled a stock M farmall. So it's going to be a little bit of a jump, but it's honestly not that big of a. I mean, yeah, you think, oh my God, anything you pull is a M farmall is the biggest tractor, and then you're going to this, but it's really not as bad as you think it is. It's not like you're getting in a top fuel car that's going 330 mile an hour. Like, it's a big deal there.
So you're gonna say the Triple Bypass is like running a Farmall M. So you Farmall M guys, you heard it here tonight.
No, I mean,
says you guys are right there.
But it's just it's just that first 50 feet is she's gonna be the hardest part for her, I believe. Anybody can get in there and just hold the throttle down and just try to keep it between the white lines, but getting it lit, getting it through that, and that's why that's one of the things of getting it lit, as I say, is getting it up through the chargers and getting it up on top of boost before you roll the clutch out. That's one thing we had a lot of issues with last year, is what we kind of corrected this year, and it seemed like it worked. I was very pleased with how everything worked in our water system down at Louisville. I was able to roll it out like I wanted to, and and we got a lot of things corrected there. So that'll definitely be easier on her part. Putting smaller chargers on it and stuff like that will definitely be easier for it, just to make it light easier and stuff like that. So I'm not too worried about that. He's a great teacher. He has sometimes great influencing words that will really kind of, I better get this to go or he's going to kick my ass kind of a deal. But he'll be fine. She'll be fine. I can help her, with whatever I can help her with. So, but I'm eager for it. And like I say, we just need to get the tractor on the track first. And I believe Dad, we're going to have him drive it a few times and make sure he's okay with it and get all the cobwebs out of it, make sure everything's okay before she gets on it. That way, everything's safe. But it ought to be a good experience for her, and it's definitely, it's one of the deals. It's just the first time you do it, it's going to be like riding a bike. It's just going to come to you. I'm not going to say you're going to do it perfect every time, but you're going to be able to do it. And then just the more you do it, the more closer to perfect you can get. And that's with anybody. That's with guys that's been pulling 20 years or guys that's been pulling, a year. So it's just going to be a learning step like anything else for sure.
Definitely that muscle memory, as they call it, being able to just continue and repeat and continue with it. Well, we're coming up to the top half of the hour here. Colin Ross, my guest tonight, driver of the Triple By Pass, and of course, we appreciate him coming on tonight. Again, tonight's show brought to you by D's Performance, dsperformance.com out there in Ohio. Speed, track, and of course now into the pulling truck and tractor world. Check the guys out online, dsperformance.com. Talking about one of our great sponsors here is D's Performance. Who's helping you guys out, the Ross team, each and every week? I mean, is there a big corporate sponsor, or is it all right, this week it's $500 to the tractor and $100 the grocery? Is that kind of how you guys are financing the project?
Yeah, it's all. My dad owns a McCormick dealership, Ross Tractor Sales. It's located in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, of course, our hometown. It's been here for years. His grandfather started, my great-grandfather. He actually worked at an International Harvester dealership in town. And then in the late 50s, I believe, early 60s, he broke off and kind of just went and bought used stuff and brought it in, fixed it, and then just made a profit like that. And we did that for years. And then my dad took over when he was 18 years old and built it to where it is now. And so that's where all the funding comes from it. There is no sponsors, no nothing like that. It's all just 100% out of back pocket and everything that the business can make and stuff like that. And, of course, we couldn't do it without the great people we have at our business to enable us to go, year-round, or I should say not year-round, but in the summertime and make sure everything's nice and sane here while we can go out and have fun and try to win some pulls. So, that's almost comes back to the family thing. We only got, I think, right under 10 employees or 8 employees. So, it's pretty much a family deal here, and everyone is family. So, it's definitely good to have people like that. So I think in my back of my mind, we kind of are kind of sponsored by good people. And if we didn't have them people behind us that were able to stay here and keep the doors open, we couldn't do what we love. And it just goes back to that whole family thing and the whole team thing. And if you ain't got good people on your side, it's not going to happen. So.
Well, that kind of answers the McCormick question in regards to why flying the very off-brand color and off-brand breed of the McCormick. So that does answer that one question that was thrown out there tonight. But it's great to hear, Colin, and I think you hit the nail right in the head, being backed and being sponsored by great people. I mean, sometimes I truly believe, like the group we have here at the Pulling Radio Network, this little project wouldn't take off without all of them. And sometimes I'm blessed to have them supporting and sponsoring and backing this project than I am, saying, wanting one of them big corporate companies, because, and just like D's Performance or High Rev Technologies, Polar Air Compressors, homegrown family businesses such as, your parent, your father's, your parents and grandfather's shop. Those are the ones I think that appreciate what you do, and you appreciate them the most. So, it's nice to have that big corporate money and that big flag, but I probably just shot myself in the foot, but I truly believe, Colin, that sometimes makes it all worth it, and we're able to go out there and show off in front of 10 and 15,000 fans and put on a great show. So, with that said, anybody else you want to thank? You talked about your dad and anybody. I mean, but is there anybody further than that that you want to thank that helps you guys get up and down the road all season long? Kind of your turn to turn to them and to tell them thanks for everything that they've done.
Well, I mean, I pretty much covered everybody throughout the course of this whole deal here. We've been talking, but I would like to recognize all the work that guys like yourself do, and Adam and your whole team there, and what you guys do. You guys build us up to be superheroes and heroes to kids and stuff like that. And we don't think of ourselves like that, but like when I was a kid, it made me realize, if I could be like that kid someday, that'd be awesome. And with social media growing as it does, with what you do and Jason Schultz and the beer money pulling team and Miles Traeger and his brother Jeremy, I mean, the whole group of people that are just keep promoting tractor pulling and keep making it, just keep putting our name out there. It's just, it's awesome what you guys do. I can't thank you guys enough for everything you've done over the past couple of years and trying to grow the sport of pulling. And I don't think you guys get enough recognition for what you do. But coming from a tractor puller, and I know there's a bunch of other tractor pullers out there as well, that you truly don't know how much that you guys like that mean to us. And we certainly do appreciate for everything that you guys do. It really means a lot.
Well, thank you for that, and I know the entire team. And I know the feed on the business page is going to start going crazy. But truly, on behalf of myself and everybody here, thank you for them kind words. I do appreciate that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Colin Ross, thank you for taking time out of your busy Tuesday. Now, where does Colin go now? Come to Wednesday? Is it back to the shop and day-to-day grind in the McCormick shop, or is it? We find a little time and wrench on the tractor and get ready for the next one?
So I actually work at a company called Chevron. It's an oil and gas company, and down here in southwestern PA and kind of eastern Ohio and in northern West Virginia, there's a rock underneath the ground called Marcellus Shale. And what they do is they bring a drilling rig in, and they go down and drill in that rock, and then they have a thing where they call it's fracking, and they go down and set charges of basically dynamite off and go in, and it cracks all this rock. And then the fracking part of it is when they put the sand down in, they put the sand down in the hole where they just drill, and it goes in and expands all of them cracks, and the sand sits in there, and it produces natural gas. So whenever the gas comes up through the well and the drilling rig leaves and all the facilities are put in, and then it gets turned to me, and I'm the guy that kind of keeps the wells up and running and keeps everything going so we can get put it in a pipeline and make some money on it. So that's what I do. It's a pretty good sized company. It's a good company, and I kind of broke off on the business when I was, I guess, 19 years old when I graduated high school. I had an opportunity to go to work for this company, and it was something that something I wanted to try. My dad has only worked at Ross Tractor Sales since he was 18. It's the only job he's known. He's basically been his own boss since he was a kid. So it's something I wanted to do as a good career choice, I think, because it keeps me and Dad. It was hard to work with him and then work on the pulling tractor and stuff like that. I mean, I don't care who it are, but you can't be around somebody that much. So I think it really built our relationship even better. That I go from in the morning till about 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock, I can come back in the shop and start working on a tractor, and we get to share what we've learned about our day and stuff like that. So it's definitely a good decision I made. I'm very happy with the decision. I think my dad's happy with the decision and what we've done and what I've done. So but that's what I do on a day-to-day basis outside of the world of tractor pulling. So I'm just a number at a big company, that's all. But certainly all the opportunities I've had at such a good company, and them giving me a chance to come on at such a young age. So definitely appreciate everything they've done for me as well.
Well, that's great to hear. Great to hear. Well, Colin, thank you very much. Tell your dad we appreciate everything that he's allowed you and able to do. And, of course, you're making fans out there, my friend. You're making friends. You're making fans. And when you get a chance, go back and read some of the great comments here on both Facebook pages that we're streaming to tonight. On the Mad Pulling Picks page. Hello to everybody there following us on that tonight, madpullingpicks.com. And, of course, on the Pulling Radio Network, there's some great comments from for some great people, Colin. Keep in touch. And I know Adam and yourself will keep in touch, and we'll see you out there in 2017. Be safe, and thank you very much for coming on tonight.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Good night now. Well, right there, Colin Ross. Big thank you to him coming on tonight here on the Full Pull with Adam and Ray, brought to you by D's Performance, dsperformance.com. Check them out online and on the web. A huge thank you to also my co-host, Adam Jott. I know he's been checking in throughout tonight. And everybody coming in tonight, big thanks to Colin Ross, the Triple By Pass team, the Ross family, for sharing in and talking about what they've done, what they're doing, and what that young man, how he kind of feels, behind the wheel and out of the seat, and talking about the great pullers that he's looked up to, Esden Lane, and we wish him the best of health, and hopefully he's back in it. We heard some good things at Louisville, and we've been hearing good things going forward, talking about Rob Russell and guys that he's looked up to. And, ladies and gentlemen, very humbled to hear, the what we've done in the past few years with, everything with Pulling Media. And that's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen, is us to make the pullers the rock stars, to put them out there on that pedestal that they so much deserve, the time and the money that just goes without being seen, to put on a great show each and every event that they're at. And, of course, the next big show coming up, Keystone Invitational, is going to be at the Pennsylvania Farm Complex, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Yes, that's right, March the 9th through the 11th. Had a quick moment, and literally it was quick, to talk with Jason Forrester. They're getting everything ready, getting the blue tractors all set for that show. So many great people volunteering and putting their time, putting their best foot forward, and getting ready for the upcoming Invitational on the 17th. Yes, that's right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just about out of time. Big thank you, of course, to High Rev Technologies, Tedder Pulling Performance, Upstate Safety and Supply, D's Performance, Allmark Sales and Service, and all you great fans out there supporting the Pulling Radio Network. And, of course, a big thank you to Polar Air Compressors, back again in 2017. Check them out online on the web, one of the quietest running air compressors that you can buy to date. Ladies and gentlemen, signing off on behalf of everybody here at the Pulling Radio Network, good night and thanks for watching.